Hey guys, haven't really done much video blogging of my thoughts, but a concept really came together for me today in a conversation I was having. So I wanted to kind of share a perspective I've been playing with for actually a couple years. So coming from a background of a very specific political identity and navigating coming out of that and creating a political identity for myself, or even an identity for myself in general, it's been very enlightening transition and just learning experience for me. So I have someone that's very close to me that came from the same background, that has had a different experience coming out of that lifestyle and creating a life for themselves. So I was talking to them today, and we were talking about different experiences and how we process things different. And this concept really started coming alive for me that as a child, we create this sense of normalcy in our lives. Like, this is what, when we're home, this is what we feel like. This is with our family, we feel comfortable, we feel confident in where we're at. And another way to look at it is when you start a new job, you know, like the first couple of days, like you're just like, what am I doing here? Like you're figuring everything out. Let's say a month or 6 months to a year in, then you feel pretty good. Like you've set this identity that I work here, I sort of know what I'm doing, I'm able to make decisions kind of on my own, I'm able to do certain tasks. And I feel like that's in life as well. Like we pick up on cues from our parents, such as like, okay, we may not talk about it, but like our parents have a identity, socially, politically, wherever you want to look at. And as a child, we don't realize that we're picking up on those and we're instilling them as part of our identity. So when you transition out of that, and a lot of people do it more like 18, I did it a lot younger, and the person I was speaking to today did it a lot younger as well. And so from my example, like I came out and was transitioned to a very different environment, and so it was very obvious to me of things that I picked up, the things that I didn't really agree with, and the different perspectives that I was encountering at that time. And the other individual that I was speaking with today went to an environment that was a lot different in, you know, like socially, but politically it was had a lot of the same views and the same beliefs, and was able to create a sense of normalcy there very quickly. And then later on, he was able to go to an experience where, like, he went off to college. And the college he went to, and he had the ability to get a full ride. And so, I mean, it was a great opportunity for him, especially the fact that both of us dropped out of grade school and now we're both in college, different paths, but we chose to continue our education. And going into this college experience for him, he knew up front that he had come from a conservative background, and that this school was a very liberal school, and that there was going to be a lot of difference in beliefs and just difference in expression and a lot of other things. So he went in with eyes open, knowing that there was going to be a culture shock, there was going to be a difference of beliefs. And so he got to start creating that normalcy at college, you know, and it was quite the experience because there was so much of a difference. And speaking to him today, now he's, you know, he finished college and he got to a point at college where he wasn't 100% confident in where he was at, but he was able to have this sense of normalcy again. So he created this normalcy that he was confident in where, like, in the peer group he was in, that he could associate with them and kind of make those decisions and express himself in ways that he felt would be accepted in that environment, and made some amazing friends, made some great connections, and that really meant a lot to him in his life. Then had the opportunity to graduate, and that shift. So then he moved back to an environment that he had left before he went to college. And so he had a sense of normalcy at the environment in college, and he had also had the sense of normalcy at the place before college. We'll just call it his house. And so when he gets home to his family, he's shifted his ideology. He's grown. He's just many different experiences that's built on his life knowledge. And so now the sense of normalcy that he had before he went to college is no longer a reality. Like, there's still parts of it that still fit, but it just doesn't fit anymore. But also the identity and the normalcy that he had in college doesn't fit at home. So from an outside perspective and being aware of this going on, I'm able to see it and be like, wow, like, he's like caught in between these two normalcies that continue to evolve, that continue to shift. And like, so now how do you navigate, okay, like, I have these friends at college that I was able to connect with and make great connections and like really enjoy their company, but I also love my family, and like I had that sense of normalcy with them. So like, where's a balance between those two? Because it's, a constant opportunity to grow and be like, wow, like, this isn't working, and how do I shift it? And I feel like a lot of times, unfortunately, when people are unaware that this is going on in their lives, it's easy for them to step back and let the normalcy of their family, because their family has created this identity as well for themselves, like, this is who I am, this is what's normal to us. And so when you come back from college and you kind of like encounter that, and there's going to be kind of a bunting of heads, so to speak, on the reunion there, then I feel like a lot of times when people aren't aware of it, it's whoever has a stronger identity, and most of the time it's the family, is going to win out. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing. I'm just saying that is the reality. And I think it's important for both parties to understand that this is going on, so that they can realize that their normalcy is shifting. Just like when you start a new job, your normalcy is starting over. It's changing, it's evolving, and being okay with that is important. Because a lot of times I feel like that, in my experience, like, when that normalcy is shifting, then it's super easy for me to be like, wow, like, I'm better than this. Like, I shouldn't be beating myself up over this. Like, this is like, why am I having such a difficult time moving past this? And I feel like it's very important to be okay with the normalcy shifting, and knowing that it's shifting, and saying, okay, where do I go from here? And learn from both, like, the new and the old, and be able to create a new normalcy that works for me. And a lot of times that includes shifting relationships, having those conversations and being able to share with others what's going on for you. Or like, in my experience, like, just sharing where I was at, like, wow, like, this was working for me in the past, but now it's not. Like, this relationship, the way that it's continued in the past, like, doesn't work now. So how do we shift it so that it will continue to work in the future? And how can we make it so that we continue to grow and become closer together, especially as a family? Like, you want to, build on those relationships rather than creating divides. And taking this full circle, and I feel like that kind of why I'm passionate about this is seeing that in our political system. Like, I feel like that there's so much of that times that, our parents have a sense of normalcy in their beliefs. And as we evolve as society, as we evolve in technology and all the stuff that we're evolving in, a lot of times the different generations aren't able to bridge that gap between the difference of normalcy in each generation. And when we don't have those conversations and we don't have that dialogue that says, look, this is where I'm at. Like, I get that your experience was different, but this is where I'm at, and find a way to create, I guess, win-win situations with both generations that say, okay, like, granted, my experience was different than yours, but I understand that our relationship, our normalcy, whatever you want to call it, is shifting, and it takes both of us to create that shift. So that's kind of the concept that really popped for me today, and just kind of want to share. So I just think it was a way to be aware of the changes that are going on in our lives, be aware of how they affect our relationships with family, loved ones, as well as our political identity, our identity in society, and how having a knowledge and an awareness that these are going on gives us the ability to have discussions about them and be able to move forward in a more efficient and effective way for everybody involved. Thank you so much.